What up? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm extremely excited to be ranking every single diet out there for fat loss. Now we're gonna be comparing keto, carnivore, 1 meal a day, intermittent fasting, all of that bullshit, because there's so much conflicting information online, and I'll be honest, I've tried most of them, if not all of them. And I will say, with all of these diets, you can lose weight, but there's ones that'll make you more miserable than others. There's ones that'll make you hate your fucking life, and there's ones that will be more sustainable than others, and you'll actually be able to sustain long term. So we're gonna get into every single one, super excited. And it also doesn't mean that it's good for your health. But social media will say pretty much anything now just to get you to buy a product and make you more confused. So today we're gonna be cutting through all the bullshit and pulling back the curtain to see what's actually the best diet from personal experience. To lose fat, enjoy it, and sustain it long term. And by the end of this video, you're gonna have clear next steps of exactly how to lose fat the right way, the healthy way, and the enjoyable way. So there's no more misinformation online. Let's get into it. All right, let's get right into it. So first, we're gonna start with the keto diet. So the keto diet, you don't need any carbs, and your body is set to go in ketosis, which means you're using fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates for fuel. All you eat is fat and protein, okay? So now this is flawed in many different ways. So first off, it's not sustainable. It's not enjoyable to cut out bread for the rest of your life. Nobody likes doing that. Nobody wants to cut out bread for the rest of their life. On top of that, it requires so much fat and protein to compose all your food that you kind of get sick of it and you're eating grease. And when I was doing keto diet 4 years ago, because I thought it would help me lose weight, I was eating such greasy food. I felt disgusting. I was getting acne. I couldn't sustain it long term, obviously. And it just wasn't fun. You run out of foods to eat very, very fast. And while I did lose a bunch of water weight at the beginning, because stored carbohydrates absorb water, so you lose weight really fast. I lost 20 pounds in 4 weeks, and then I gained it back and worse once I introduced bread again. I thought that would be the fix to get abs, and then when I went back to normal, I gained the weight right back. So due to the unsustainability and the misery of the diet and how bad I rebounded when I did it, I'm gonna put keto diet at about honestly, I'm gonna have to go D. This is ass. Anyone that I see that's on keto, I'm praying for you. Carbs aren't what makes you fat, and the only reason I lost weight is because of the water weight with the carbs. But you need some water retention is not bad to an extent. That's just what carbs do, and they're your body's preferred energy source. Because of the unsustainability and because you're lacking carbohydrate, you're lacking your body's preferred energy source. That's the main reason. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. You can't stick to it long term, and for health purposes, it's probably not ideal. It's not ideal to have that much fat. The only reason I did lose weight is 1, because I dropped the water weight, and 2, because you're forcing yourself in a caloric deficit because you're excluding an entire macronutrient group. That's why all these diets work. That's the secret. All these diets only work because of caloric deficit. That's the secret. Anyway, next, paleo diet. So a paleo diet, we're looking at fish, eggs, chicken, veggies, fruit. We're looking at pretty much a whole food diet here. Now, this one is not bad at all. If there was going to be one restrictive diet I would do, it would be this one. Why? Because it's primarily whole foods and there's a lot of variability. And now you're avoiding breads and things like that. But out of all these diets, this one seems like a better option so far. Now, you're able to get all the vitamins and minerals and things that you need and from this diet, which is absolutely amazing. You just don't have bread and processed foods like yogurt. You don't have dairy. And because of that, due to it being pretty versatile, you're getting all the vitamins and minerals you need, so it's more healthy than the keto diet. It's still unsustainable because you don't have dairy or bread forever or any processed food. Processing is it's not inherently bad. People just fearmonger it. And because of that, I'm gonna put paleo honestly all the way up here at the B tier, A tier. I'm gonna put that A tier because it's a good diet. It's just, if you enjoy that, to not eat bread and stuff again, that's cool. Like, it's probably the most sustainable diet out of the other ones I'm gonna get to. One of the most. And that's the reason I put it at A, okay? And you can get, again, very versatile, a lot of vitamins and minerals. You're gonna be very healthy. The biggest thing is just sustainability with this, okay? And we need some calcium with the dairy. Okay, next, vegan. So vegan, there's no eggs, there's no meat. And because of that, it's going to be extremely hard to get your protein in. You're going to be very limited to legumes and plants and things like that. So you're going to be lacking protein. You're going to be lacking a lot of essential nutrients that come with things in red meat or eggs. And it's going to be extremely restrictive So for that reason, I would honestly put vegan at D and move keto diet up to C, just because it's still better than vegan, in my opinion. Vegan is actually the worst, okay? I changed my mind about keto. I hope I can do that. You get some vitamins and minerals here, but it's so unsustainable. Like, and again, this is just for the average vast majority of people, and you're not gonna get the protein and nutrients you need, like without supplementing, and it's gonna be much harder, okay? Next, we have the intermittent fasting window. So intermittent fasting, that's a great one, not a bad one, but not required. Again, all these work because of a caloric deficit, but I enjoy waking up, pushing out my first meal. Now, do you need to intermittent fast? Absolutely not, but it helps people shorten their eating window, which leads to less weight. That leads to more weight loss. However, it doesn't ensure weight loss, because if you go and eat 4,000 fucking calories during your eating window, you're gonna gain, but it makes it easier to eat in a caloric deficit. And there's a lot of variability it sees here, like all the good foods when you are eating. And because of that, I would greatly put this up here at A. Now we got the no sugar and we have the 1 meal a day. So no sugar. People think sugar leads to bloating and acne and stuff like that. No, it doesn't. And because of that, it's extremely restrictive. Sugar is good. We need to leave it to moderation, but look at that. There's sugar and fruit. I don't know what this picture is showing, but it's assuming that there's sugar and fruit. So avoiding sugar altogether is not what is going to make you healthy. It's eating in a caloric deficit. And this is overly restrictive. I couldn't go long without sugar. I have it in moderation. I'm not abusing it, but no sugar diet. Because of that, there's not really a benefit to it. Same with all these. Mostly it's extremely restrictive too, and it's not necessary. And because of that, I'm going to put that down to D tier. Okay, 1 meal a day. Similar thing with intermittent fasting. Like, you don't need it, but your body probably would be better off, eating not 24/7. That's why intermittent fasting is pretty solid. Again, you don't need to do this, but it could be beneficial. However, I couldn't, and because of the lack of sustainability, less sustainable than intermittent fasting itself, I would put it down here at potentially C tier once again, because it's not required. And then lastly, you might be thinking, bro, what is this sneak it in here? Well, the sneak it in system. That is a system after trying all these diets that I have come up with myself to not exclude any food groups and still make amazing progress. Well, what do you mean? Like, how the hell do you do that? Well, let me show you. Boom. Sneak it in system. So it's for people that want to get in shape, but instead of opposed to all these, like for keto, for example, they have a long-term sustainable mindset. Going in knowing that it's something they can stick to long-term rather than crash diet, or you're doing restrictive diets and you lose weight super fast, right? Instead of that, you have a long-term sustainable mindset, so you're able to work in your favorite foods with low-calorie, high-protein alternatives. For example, pizza. You can make your own protein dough, then you make low-fat cheese, then you use the lowest calorie marinara sauce or pizza sauce, okay? You can make the foods you love. There's nothing off limits. And you can even have the foods you do like with not the low calorie, high protein alternatives, which when you're doing it right, it tastes just about the same. But you can make it work within your calories and macros at the end of the day. That's what it's all about. And then you have I talk about the exercise plan here, but overall, this is just a system more than a diet as well. But in terms of for fat loss, this is the way to do it. Just seamless life tweaks that doesn't exclude anything, because the more you restrict, the more you eventually give out and feel like you're cheating. But because you're not restricting, you don't feel the need to cheat, you see legit results. Then you have a motivation boost, and then you continue following the system long term. They become habits and become second nature. And then you get that notable physique, mental clarity, confidence, and energy transformation. Now you're long term building these small sustainable habits forever without feeling like you're changing much. So just small tweaks, and then the results continue long term, right? And then you become a Greek god. That's how you do it, when you don't feel the need to cheat and start over. And then that has not only worked for me, but it's worked for my mom, Connor, Ali, Tyler, David, and that's just literally just a couple. I have over 50 people at this point that I've helped make an amazing transformation. It works for everyone, and most importantly, it'll stick long term and it doesn't feel miserable. That's the key. And because of that, with the sneak it in system, you will be listed at S tier, as in super. That is how I live my life, and that is the sustainable way to seamlessly stay in amazing shape without even thinking about it. That is the key way, rather than any restrictive diet. Because at the end of the day, your body only understands micronutrients, so vitamins and minerals, and macronutrients, protein, fat, carb, alcohol. And if you're able to hit all those to a sufficient amount within your body, it doesn't matter what you're restricting. And if you eat in a caloric deficit, it doesn't matter what kind of fancy diet you're doing, you're gonna lose weight. That's the way to do it. There's no restrictive diet, it's a lifestyle change. Following a diet is the key to failing. So sneak it in system, a lifestyle change. Keeping the foods you like, because we're human. No one wants to restrict good food for the rest of their life. And that's why this is super tier, because it's extremely effective, extremely sustainable, and it doesn't restrict anything. There you go. And it's the one key to never falling off again. It's something that you can, rather than a diet, finally stay to long term. Okay, and it's different for everyone. It works within their life, but you have to be able to analyze the foods you like, the habits you have, your schedule, how you eat, analyze all these things, and then come up with, again, low calorie, high protein alternatives for those foods. Figure out how your calories and how to eat in a caloric deficit. I would highly advise tracking, at least at the beginning, to get a better idea of foods. Start looking around the grocery store for low calorie, high protein alternatives for the foods you already like, and 10,000 steps a day, and go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week. It's so simple. You don't need to do any shit like this, okay? That's it. So that's my ranking tier, okay? So I appreciate you guys for listening. I hope now that you can truly see that diets don't work. It's about a lifestyle change. And the more sustainable, the better, okay? Making sure you're doing it in a healthy way is, of course, key as well, as I described in the previous video. Vitamins and minerals, macronutrients, boom. You hit everything, you get your calories right, you're gonna be the top 1% health in America. So you have 2 options now. A, you could either implement the Sneak It In system in your own life, and I really hope you get those amazing results and keep them long term. That's what will happen with this. Or B, you could click the link in the description below and apply to work with me one-on-one, where I will personally implement the Sneak It In system within your life for your goals, completely personalized, to ensure that you get there the most efficient way and stay there forever, okay? Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, comment what you want for more, and I'll see you in the next one.